On today's video, we're going to rank every Dino Megazord toy or Daizyujin toy ever made.
It's Morphin time!
Hello, this is Soundout here, and on today's video, we're going to rank every one of the Dino Megazord or Daizyujin toys released in the last 30-some-odd years, because they've done quite a few. I did not make this tier list. This is just on Tier Maker. This is every major toy version of the Dino Megazord or Daizyujin from Kyoryu Sentai Zyuranger / Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 1. There's been a lot, and so I don't own every single one of these, so maybe there's going to be some favoritism for the ones I do own, but yeah, we're just going to rank them just based on how they are, because, oh boy, there's quite a few. These are also, I've noticed the list is also just using ones that combine more so than ones that that are like standalone action figures, which will also make this a little bit simpler, which is kind of nice, because, yeah, if we do all the action figures, we'll be here for 4 or 6 days. So let's just not do that. All right, if you enjoy this, hit the like button and subscribe to the notification bell if you haven't already. Really do appreciate that. So we're going to begin with the original Deluxe Megazord / original Deluxe Daizyujin. A pretty iconic toy. I think a lot of people really love this one for just the playability factor. I think the main reason I like it so much is that it has kind of the chunky factor that a lot of the later versions are missing. I definitely think it does look better with the Zyuranger stickers because it's more show accurate. And it's kind of weird that like Power Rangers would do that. They'd kind of change up all the stickers on it. But honestly, I do really like the original Dino Megazord. I'm gonna put it in S tier because I really have no complaints with it. It's just solid. It's chunky. It doesn't go anywhere. It holds its combinations well. Like, it's just a fun toy. I think one of the reasons why like Mighty Morphin and Zyuranger comes back so many times over and over again when it comes to toys and stuff is because that original mecha design is just so fantastic. The way that all the parts come together, just really great. Alright, so we have the 2010 Dino Megazord, which I also have. This one was pretty solid. I thought it was really cool how they kind of streamlined it a little bit, made it a little bit more show accurate in some places. It's a good update. It was during Bandai America, like trying to do like the you know, they're kind of doing like the Power Rangers 2010 thing was just kind of like fill a year. It was to fill a contract, and they actually made some really cool toys. Unfortunately, we never got like a proper Dragonzord and Titanus to go with this one. It was just the Megazord. I think it was pretty good overall. I think it being all plastic was a key thing. I think it really helped it. I'm gonna put it in A because that was honestly just a really fun toy, and it was just a fun time to, like, you know, people that didn't have the original suddenly could have a Megazord, and it was pretty affordable, which made it really fun. And I think that's kind of like it's one of those things that, you know, sometimes just because it's not better than the original doesn't mean it doesn't have value, because like the original versions of toys get really expensive, and it's like, hey, this is a thing I want, but I can't really get it because it's so expensive. And then a more affordable version comes along, and we kind of see like the ups and downs of all of that throughout the rest of these, which is kind of fun. All right, so we have the Joint Gatai Daizyujin. Joint Gatai was sort of similar to Zord Builder, where like everything was on a universal peg system. So the idea was that you could just like swap parts around between different mecha. We have another version of this later on. Joint Gatai was a cool line though. They had older Sentai mecha that you can just kind of pop them together, plug them together, that sort of thing, and it was kind of a neat idea. I ultimately never picked up any of them because I kind of like I want, like, when I'm looking for mecha toys for Sentai mecha and whatnot, I really look to just have something that's like in the size of the deluxe ones. Like, it doesn't have to be the original deluxe, but I would like just the bigger robots because I really enjoy them. So Joint Gatai being smaller and being more on like the peg system, not my favorite kind of thing. I'm gonna give it a solid B though. I don't think it does anything too egregious. I think the individual modes look pretty good overall. But yeah, we're gonna give it a solid B. Okay, this one might be controversial. So for the Legacy line, they redid the 2010 Megazord with chrome and diecast, and I thought it looked beautiful, and it still does. And that thing on its own is not too bad. It has this problem. They made a Dragonzord and they made a Titanus. This is a Megazord that wasn't designed to have diecast metal in it. And the designers at Bandai were trying to do diecast and did like no research into how diecast actually works, because you can't put all the die-cast into the Tyrannosaurus and the Mastodon and expect the thin saber-tooth tiger and Triceratops legs to hold up. Yeah, this thing collapses under its own weight, just on its own, and then if you add the Dragonzord, which was like half die-cast metal, you're just putting like several pounds on top of these scrawny little legs, to the point where Titanus had to come with leg braces for it. I'm putting this one in C. It looks pretty, but oh man, does it not hold together. And especially now that we're so many years removed from it, like it just collapses under its own weight, and it's just really unfortunate because I think it really, really could have benefited just from some sturdier legs. But I think in particular, it needed to have less diecast in the torso, more diecast in the legs. You always want to build your diecast in a figure from the ground up. It should be heavier at the legs, so that way it can support the weight of everything above it. Alright, Super Mini Plot Daizyujin is really good. I'm gonna put that one in S. I don't own it personally, but like it's fantastic. It adds a lot of articulation range. It seems like it's not too bad of a build. Unlike some other Super Mini Plot, the joint system doesn't make no sense. Like it actually kind of logically comes together as a model kit. And overall, I think it looks good. It managed to keep the chunk factor by adding articulation, but still got the chunkiness to it, which I think makes it really, really cool. I think the thing that always gets thrown off is when you get a Daizyujin or a Dino Megazord toy, and he's thin, he's lean. He's supposed to be a chunky boy. It's always looked chunky, and I think the chunk factor is like part of it. So I think the Super Mini Ply did a good job with that. Solo Chogokin Daizyujin, on the other hand, I haven't had hands-on experience with this one, but from everything I've heard, it does sort of do almost everything great. I think when it combines the Dragonzord, it's a bit of a problem, I've heard. But, the Daizyujin itself is immaculate looking. I'm going to put this one in S as well. It's got the chunk factor, it's got the extra articulation, it's got the die-cast, but the die-cast isn't, it's built from the ground up, because Bandai knows what they're doing with Chogokin. The legs are really solid and such. I think the only thing that like drags it down is the price. I think I'll drag it to A because it was very expensive, and I own several Soul Chogokins. I don't buy them very often because they are always expensive, especially the ones that combine. I'm looking at my two Voltrons up there, line and vehicle. That was an expensive purchase. They're really nice, but also it sucks because if any of the plastic starts to wear, it can sort of make them like a little fragile. So yeah, I'm going to put it in A, actually. It's a really good design. It's a really solid version, but for the price it's at, and because of general Soul Chogokin-ness, it's really dang good. Probably the best, like, design-wise, but it goes in A because of the price and possible fragility down the line. Alright, then we have Hasbro's basic Dino Megazord, which it was sort of just meant to be like an affordable Dino Megazord. They had split up the components, so it was like, I think it was the T-Rex, and then the Mastodon, and the Triceratops, and the Pterodactyl, and the Saber-Tooth Tiger, so it was like 3 sets. I think it looks good. I think they did a good job with it. It has the chunk factor, it's not as thin as the Legacy. It was a little underpainted, but, the price on it wasn't too bad from what I remember. It was maybe a little more expensive than it should have been. Making large combining robots is tricky in multiple economies. But I will say that as a whole, I think they did a pretty decent job with it. I'm going to put it in B, like right next to the joint Gatai, because I think it really excels in a lot of areas. I think the only issue is that if you got the box set online, much easier to get, but if you're trying to find like the individual components in person, that can be kind of tricky because every store would have to stock every version. But yeah, I think overall pretty decent. Okay, so we got the Lightning Collection ZAP Megazord. I felt it was overpriced. I never picked it up, but I have seen it in person before. It has structural problems. And this is something that ZAP never really got away from, was that the Zords they made just had structural issues. I liked the idea behind them. I liked having a set scale, even though 1 to 1/44 was insane because it made these things gigantic. I liked the kind of like, we gave it a little bit more texture, more detail, more surface detail. I loved the included minifigures. I loved all that stuff about it. But then seeing like the structural problems, people had trouble standing it. People had trouble with some of the joints. Some things wouldn't hold together well. It just makes it a C tier experience. That's the same issue with the Legacy. It's like you can't hold together. I mean, I kind of like that. I'm like that with a lot of Sentai mecha designs. It's like, if it can't hold together, I'm just not interested. I have that issue with Boom Boom Champion Robo. Like, you pick it up and the gun cannons fall off. Don't like that whatsoever. I don't like it when things fall off. The appeal is the big, sturdy, chunky robots, and yeah, the Zap just didn't quite accomplish it. I'd hope they would get better, but by the Astro Megazord, there was clips breaking out of the box, and it was like, there was a lot of potential there. A lot of it was squandered. All right, so we have the Flame Toys model kit that looks like the original Daizyujin. This one does combine. It says, it's combine in action. I think it's decent. I'm gonna put it in B as well. I don't think there's anything like spectacular about it. I think by that point we had seen so many versions that it just didn't really register. I didn't see anyone talking about it. Real good middle of the road kind of thing. It looks good, but I don't know. It's not like amazing. The Furai model Flame Toys Dino Megazord slash Daizyujin is really cool. They did a redesign on it. They made the pterodactyl wings like part of its backpack. The Tyrannosaurus tail is out, so it has a more bestial design. It's got like really jagged teeth on the chest plate, which is really, really cool. I like this one a lot. I'm gonna put this one in A. It's just a really cool design. I think it's a neat redesign. It keeps a lot of the visual design language of the Megazord, but it does manage to update it in some really, really cool ways that I think are awesome. All right, this next one is the subscription service Megazord. This was I think it was a company in Europe that was doing a subscription model where over 48, I think it was like 48 months or something, 24 months, 48 months, you would get a monthly packet, and that packet would contain parts to build a like 2-foot tall Megazord with lights and electronic features and all kinds of crazy detail. And it was just like this massive, like it's the size of a child, and you had to build it in components. And I think they just put up an option now where you can just buy the whole thing outright. That is such a cool idea. It's also completely bonkers at the same time. I think the overall final product is definitely like really good. I've seen people's videos and pictures of it. It is phenomenal in its final form. It is insanely expensive though. I think it's like $1,200 when you get down to it. It is really cool though that they did, and I think splitting it up over like a subscription thing makes a lot of sense because that helps kind of balance out the cost. I'm gonna put it in A though. I think the cost is still like a lot high, but for what you're getting like the biggest, baddest version of the Megazord that's ever been made. Okay, so now we have DX Robo Universe Daizyujin, which is a redesign. They kind of took some inspiration from Flame Toys, it seems, with the chest design. The thing that weirds me out about this toy is not just the way that the combined robot looks or the way the individual components looks, but the fact they did this redesign to make it look different for the toy. Then in Gojuju Episode 0, the like prequel short, they show it with the new design in the CG model. But then when Daizyujin shows up in the series, they're reusing the suit that they already had from when they did Gokaiger, and they made a new Daizyujin suit, which I don't mind because I really like the old design. I didn't like this Robo Universe design, but it kind of made me wonder what was the whole point of redesigning it. None of the other Robo Universe mechas redesign things, right? All the other mecha, they look just the same as the original, or they match the suit design more, or whatever. Like the individual components are a little weird, but that the base robot looks like it did in the show that it came from. Whereas this one just was a complete redesign for seemingly no reason, and yeah, when it showed up in the show, it was just the old design again. So I was like, well, what was the whole point of the redesign? That being said, I think the components don't look great. I think it's underpainted. I think it's overpriced. I'm putting it in D. I think that one looks the absolute worst out of all of them. Maybe if there was some better work done, but like that stubby sword, the weird design, I just sort of unnecessary redesign. I just don't like it. I just don't like it. All right, and that brings us to the one that's not out yet, but we've got enough promotional images that can kind of make a good judgment on it. This is the Playmates Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Reignited Dino Megazord. So this is going to be sold as 5 separate components, which is interesting because we've never really seen that before. Like with the Hasbro basic one, that was in 3 sets, but this is going to be 5 separate components. They've added in like minifigures of the Rangers to go with the pterodactyl, which I think is awesome. They've added in blast effects for like the Saber-tooth Tiger and the Triceratops. They've priced them pretty reasonably as far as we know. We'll have to see what the final price is. And it's pretty big. It's the size of their combining Voltrons, which are like 1.5 feet tall. this is designed for a kid's toy. It's designed to be fun, and I think it looks fun. It's still weird that every promotional image just shows the shoulders down like the old days, even though, you know, they're always up on the show floor, even when they show these at Toy Fair. In general, I do think it looks good. I think it looks like a fun toy. I think the price, you know, depending on the final price, I think it's going to be worth it for the price, especially for the size it is. It's supposed to have electronic features as well, I believe. Um, I think as a toy, and that's what we're really ranking here as a toy, I think it's great. I'm gonna put it an A. That may change when it comes out and we see, like, you know, pictures and video of it, but I think as an overall package, that's like an A tier thing for sure, because I think that, you know, you got a lot of features, you got a lot of, you know, the details are there. I think splitting them up helps balance the budget a lot, and it's gonna be pretty large and in charge. And honestly, that just looks like a fun robot and a fun toy to play with. So that's the ranking. That I think I'm pretty happy with. I'm trying to decide if I want to rank some of these higher or lower. I think most Daizyujin Dino Megazord toys turn out pretty good, and I think this is definitely one of those cases because, you know, with Playmates doing their first Megazord, and this is the first one they're doing, it's a good one to go with. It's a very simple design that's also really stylish, right? Like, you get two things for the legs, one for the torso, one thing becomes the arms, one chest plate on front, you're done. Like, it's not overly complex like some others. And I think it's just got that iconography, and it just looks freaking cool. And I'm really like, I really like this. And, you know, I've always, you know, I say, like, you know, times like, oh, I'm kind of tired of Daizyujin. It's like I'm tired of G1 Optimus Prime. It's not a bad thing. We have a ton of great versions of the same thing. So I think in general, this is one of those designs we're never going to stop seeing toys for it because it's just so cool. It's just such a cool set of toys, and I really enjoy it. So that's my ranking. If you want to leave your comments down below, tell me your ranking of these specific toys, or tell me which is your favorite. If you want a simpler option, just tell me what your favorite version of the Dino Megazord is. Not to be like an old soul or whatever. I still think my favorite is the original Deluxe one. I just love it to death. Like, it's just so cool. It's just so fun. It's so it's satisfying to like click together. I just really like that one a lot. But overall, I mean, like I said, there are a lot of really good ones. But that does it for the video, so hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. Really do appreciate that. Helps the video, helps the channel. If you want to continue the conversation, join our Discord server in the link below. We have a lot of cool conversations down there. If you want to help support the channel directly, you can join the channel memberships with perks like early access videos and member-exclusive live streams. Let's give some special shout-out to some channel members now.
Special shout out to all our channel members, including Spin-54, Toma K, Masterbin95, Forever1000, Super Shaddix Boom, Mr. Smelly Potato, Silver Bricks, Travis's Media Madness, Gokai Gamer, Josh Frisch, Muhammad Faiz Daniel, Brenton Yadin, Stephen Hiajosa, Jamie's World, Cameron Meter, Taylor Black, Starhu, Gabriel Saez, Luffy D Monkey, Joy-Con Girl, Mas Fuego, Onio Nichan, Dr. Grid, RC Scorchcore, Crestfallen Thoughts at Midnight, Paul Miller, Colby Massengale, Aggressively Relaxing, Michael, Kaiju1954, and B-Men. Thank you all for your continued support of this channel.
I'm on social media on Blue Sky at Soundout12. You can also find Wonderful Graphic Designer on social media and our Discord at DarkClaw643. And you can find Hero Club at HeroClub.com for tokusatsu interviews, news, and more. And until next time, this is Soundout saying goodbye.